Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Volpe Bazzo Report. I'm your host, Dominic Volpe, with my co-host, Andy.
Hey, Dominic.
Andy,
how are you? Another month?
Nice seeing you again. Darren is back from his trip to
Casa Volpe.
Casa Volpe down in Florida.
Sipping my time.
And now Brian's down at Casa Volpe.
Oh, is that where Brian is?
You let him use your house.
Yeah, but he took he took my keys and didn't even tell me
Hey,
anything.
he just sent me a text message. He wants to know where you keep the liquor cabinet.
First of all, we know the Irish don't drink, so we know that's really not true. So anyway, here we are here. It is now April. A third of the year. It's April 4th, the 3rd, right? Or 4th, right?
And Donald Trump has still not been impeached.
Right, but the thing is, can you believe this? This is what happens when a third of the year is gone.
No, January, February, March.
Third of the year is
No,
gone.
a quarter of the
Quarter of the year.
Quarter, 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Quarter of the year is gone.
More importantly,
3 months.
North Carolina just defeated Gonzaga for the March Madness title for NCAA sports for basketball.
Mets won their home opener.
Mets won their home opener. Yankees
lost their
home opener.
But the reality is, baseball is back,
Right.
and all's right with the world. Like Field of Dreams said, no matter what goes on in the world, baseball is the one constant.
That's right.
Are the Yankees going to be awful this year?
As compared to last year,
What do you consider? 80 wins a good season for them this year?
I'd be surprised.
All right. And also the Masters starts on Thursday, which is the beginning of spring. It really is the beginning of spring for anybody who's a golf aficionado, or even just watching Amen Corner on 12 and 13.
I've never played golf.
It's unbelievable.
I've never tried.
Oh,
Do you play?
Once a year
You gotta take me out and
when I
show me,
run the
because
golf outing for the American Legion here in the
it's
city
super
of
popular.
Peachtree.
So
learn.
if the English Lord Bates
Right.
joins the Masters, and the English Lord Bates wins the Masters.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
Okay, so I just want to know.
We'll let all 20 people watching the show figure that one
I
out.
just want to know where that goes. Now listen,
Can we
Darren.
curse on this show?
We can do whatever we want.
No, a couple of things, Darren, because you were not here. Frank Catalina was our guest last month,
Oh, good.
and he didn't have any bad things to say about you. I don't know what you get past.
Did you ask him? I'm
He
sure I
did
don't just
ask
come
him.
up in
No,
conversation.
it was such a love fest between him and Brian. There was no
Brian was on top of the issues. Brian owned that show.
It really
Brian
was.
owned that
You
show.
could have.
We just said-
They should have been just
Was
their.
Brian sitting on his lap?
Oh, it
during
was
the show?
unbelievable,
Darren,
and licking the
Darren, I
lollipop
wanna
and
tell you,
everything.
Dominic was there, I was here, and we were just watching. No, because Brian
Did
did
Brian
that.
physically carry his water?
No,
or
no, no,
is
no,
that
no.
just
No.
literally,
What I'm saying is that
figuratively
Brian had
carrying
to
his water?
control. Brian controlled the issues. He was on top.
Well, he
of
was wrong on all the issues, but he still controlled
Frank
it.
may have been wrong.
Yeah.
But Brian knew the questions to ask. But
Entergy is leaving the area because there's 200 lawsuits. So,
Oh, that's why.
So in other words, Entergy doesn't have
Oh.
any money to hire lawyers that they've been fighting for the past 30, 40 years anyway. Like all of a sudden now money became an issue with Entergy.
Yeah, the lawsuits finally drove them away.
Meanwhile, time and time again, a newspaper says we're leaving it because it's a business decision. But
Yeah.
no, they knew better last week.
yeah, they didn't want to pay the lawyers. It was a
It's a
business
business
decision.
decision.
But anyway, you're back.
I'm surprised because
No.
on Facebook and a lot of places, Brian's always getting accused of,
I know,
of
being the mayor's lackey.
Frank's- Yeah, being Frank's
mayor's
mouthpiece. Yeah.
Right. And we all know it's really you.
That's right.
I mean, you are the Steve.
You know what? I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know for sure if he's the worst mayor in the history of Peekskill, but he might be. There's a really good chance the worst. He actually, you know what? He loves being mayor. He likes being mayor.
Agreed.
You know, he went out and he had all those jackets embroidered with the word mayor.
Tommy noticed that. He says when we met him at
He pays out of
ShopRite.
pocket.
We met him at
embroidered.
ShopRite. He's got the jacket. He's got mayor there. And Tommy says to me when we go home, if you've got to wear that jacket, you must be very insecure about
He
something.
loves being mayor. Not very good at being mayor, but he loves being mayor. And I think he's running for re-election. And I think he's the only person.
Oh,
I
he's
know
clearly running.
who's running for real.
Oh, we kind of settled
That's
that.
such a
We
that's
kinda
a
settled
fallacy.
that.
Oh, that it's
Yeah.
he may not. He's running. There's,
I know,
Now,
no,
is Vinny
no.
Vesey running
No,
for
because
mayor?
the reality, Dominic, that
No.
you run for office. You know there are rules. Once you announce your candidacy, then you have to do certain things, and certain things kick in. So as long as you're not announcing, there you have a little bit more leeway.
Right,
in.
right,
So,
right.
but I mean, let's face it. We know he's running.
Once you announce everything you do and say at that podium is sort of politicized now,
Right,
right?
right,
right.
It's no longer good government. Now it's he's trying to get votes or
So what
so
is it
changes.
now? You were telling me the other
I
day.
don't know
in
who
the-
else is running. I have
Well,
no
let me
idea.
finish
if
though. But you were
Vinny
telling
Vesey
me
or
in the
Joe or-
car you had a Democrat meeting.
No.
Tell me about that.
Well, apparently I wasn't there. I was not at the last Democrats meeting, but the
You
Peekskill
were in
Democrats
Puerto
meetings,
Rico
I was sipping my ties.
chasing your wife.
I
I
was-
saw the Facebook pictures. We saw the postings on Facebook.
She's a fast runner. That's the problem with my marriage.
he lost 5 pounds just chasing her.
I did. I was she's very quick and nimble. No, the Peekskill Democrats had a meeting, and apparently it used to be 12 or 15 people at these meetings,
Right.
and like 40 people showed up.
Oh wow.
And it's a lot of this energy out there. This what do you want to call it? It's not. But it's what's interesting about it is it's not official. It's not like the Democratic Party. It's just these groups, these
Right.
Facebook groups, or these send postcards at the coffee house group, or these anonymous different groups that are meeting.
They're
and-
activists. There's something.
activist groups.
Yeah.
And
Something's
they all have
going
their
on.
different issue, right? Some are like women's rights, some are gay rights, some are union rights, some are environmentalists, which are really big here. The anti-pipeline people have a big organization. So, and they're looking for a way to harness their energy and put it towards something. And again, it's not the official Democratic Party, because I think a lot of Democratic liberal activists are still angry at the Democratic Party. They don't want to be under that banner. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're kind of like Bernie people that were very angry about what happened during that election. They
You mean
felt
when they
candidates
rigged
were
the
shoved down their
primary
throat.
against them?
Yeah. There's and that's where that primary energy comes from. There might be a primary for candidates that want to run locally.
Oh,
which
wait,
will be
you
really
were talking
interesting.
about primaries, just to interrupt you. County executive, you said there may be a
Great
primary
example.
on the Democrats. What's going on here?
Well, this
example.
week it broke that Spano said officially he's not running. So that leaves that
He's
was,
still
and he was
alive?
But also this week, George
no,
Latimer.
not Lenny, the other one, the Yonkers mayor.
Oh, Mike Spano.
Mike Spano.
Why would you run for county executive when you run Yonkers? It's like being the mayor of New York City. The governor is a come
Well, wait a
down.
minute. Isn't there something called term limits in the city of Yonkers? That's why. I don't know if.
But he's still, no, I think
is he
he's,
still
no,
up?
I think he's good for one more term.
Oh, he's good for one more
Regardless
term?
if there or not, he's good for one. But I'm just saying, you're mayor of Yonkers, county executives that come down. You're mayor of New York City, governor of New York State
I
is a
understood.
come down.
I agree, because Yonkers is such a big city in Westchester County. I get it, but
It is-
but whatever reason, we had been hearing for over a year that
Yeah, that Mike
Spano
Mayer-
was going to run. Well, now he officially came out and he said no. He goes, I'm not. I'm staying here in Yonkers. So that opened up the door for, and that's what lead to Darren with
Yeah,
this.
and that's George Latimer.
Right.
So
No.
that-
Well, no. First was Ken Jenkins.
Well, Ken Jenkins already announced he's running. So he's running for county executive
Right.
against Rob Astorino.
Right.
But now apparently there'll be a Democratic primary because now George Latimer, the state senator from Rye.
Can
he
George
announced.
Latimer beat if they still haven't gone to a convention, correct?
not gone to a convention,
So if Latimer actually goes to the convention and wins the convention, Ken would have to primary, correct?
Yeah, I don't think it'll matter. They might not even do a convention. They might do a convention, but they might not. I think that Ken and George, I think both of them, they should go to a primary. They shouldn't. Again, this goes right back to what we were saying just now. What's going to happen? Does that mean like a bunch of Democratic chairs get together in a room at a Holiday Inn somewhere and decide who the Democratic nominee is?
Right.
Well, how's that going to sit with the activists?
I mean, as compared to letting the primary process work
Let the
its way
primary
out,
process
and then they go to the
happen.
voters. You mean?
Let the activists
Let me ask you
go. The Bernie people, the Elizabeth Warren people, the Hillary people, the Obama people. Let them go vote for the
So
love
let
of
me
God.
ask you something. Being that you understand a lot about Democrat corruption, being a Democrat, and
I do,
Charlie-
yes, I'm a part of it.
If the fix was in, is the fix for Latimer or for Jenkins?
No, if anything,
No, I'm just saying if the fix was in, just hypothetical. I'm not kidding, folks. Don't take this serious. But you have to after last year's primary, you have to ask the question. But I would ask you, there's a way to evaluate the
Oh,
candidates.
in other words, you're saying.
if the fix was in,
In other words, you're saying Ken would be, because Ken is already came out and where he said that he's definitely running. So he's been the proverbial front runner.
Right.
But now, and then Spano backed away. So you would think Ken should have it lock, stock, and barrel.
And now he still doesn't.
But now Latimer came forward. You're saying, could this be something that's working behind the scenes?
I'm just saying,
where Latimer gets
so
it?
is the fix in?
For
If the
Latimer.
fix was in, who would be the party candidate?
I think it would be George Latimer would be the party fixes in candidate, but I would encourage Ken to continue
Primary.
to run and primary and win, because I think he would win a primary. I think Ken would win a primary in Westchester County. I don't know if he would win the county convention.
See, the Bernie Sanders problem was he was running a nationwide primary.
Right.
Too many moving parts. Even in a rigged primary, it's still a singular area.
Right.
You can beat the system in a singular area. Then let's say it was rigged. And I'm not saying it, I'm just saying if it was, Jenkins has a lot better shot of overcoming the odds than Bernie Sanders ever did.
Yeah,
I mean, there are no super delegates, right? There's no super delegates.
No,
in
not
the
the primary. No.
No.
But at the convention, what would happen at the convention is, look, there was already newspaper articles saying that Andrew Cuomo and Cuomo's people, let's call them that, have an interest in a strong Democratic candidate because they would like to see Rob Astorino slowed down. They want to see him burn up his money, his resources,
Gotcha.
maybe even lose.
Because he's worried about the potential run for governor.
He knows if he gets an easy run and wins
He's
big,
got the money stored up, ready to go.
he's
going to
be ready
race.
to run for governor. So this is a way to kind of hobble him now, slow him down, burn his resources, maybe even defeat him.
Yeah.
Right?
Through attrition, you kill him.
So his people said that they were still looking for a candidate, that they didn't like Ken Jenkins for whatever reason. And so you had Tom Abenante, you had Amy Pollin, and you had Georgette Latimer out there talking about which one of them was going to be the candidate.
You want to know what the problem with Jenkins is?
I think
Darren,
Ken
you want to
will
know
win
what the
primary.
problem with Dick Jenkins is? What? Nothing above 287. No name recognition, nothing above 287.
Yeah, but he doesn't, you know what he doesn't bring? Experience from Albany, which I think is a good thing. I think these other folks, how on God's green earth do you run for higher office when you're a state senator? And I love George Latimer and I love these other people, but the point is, how do you look at the dysfunction and corruption in Albany?
Right.
They can't pass a budget. They can't even get the Democrats can't agree to caucus together to get something passed on behalf of people, and yet you're going to say, well, I deserve to be in higher office.
Right.
I don't think Albany experience is a good experience.
Whereas
Not in New York.
Whereas Ken
Not
has
in
been
New York.
he's been the legislator already for.
And Ken knows
yeah.
the county issues inside out and backwards, and he's been a spokesperson for the Democrats fighting up against Astorino.
No, I'm just saying,
and
we're
fighting for his budget.
using Cuomo's argument with the drawback to Jenkins, they would see Jenkins as a guy that's got nothing above 287.
Well, honestly, laying our cards on the table, I think that Cuomo's people love money, and they like people who can fundraise big. And white candidates from southern wealthy parts of Westchester can fundraise bigger than African-American candidates from with a base that doesn't have that type of money.
However,
Ken Jenkins, though, has a base of African-American Hispanic support that will help him in the Democratic primary.
Right. Or the general election.
Ooh. Having an African-American at the top of the ticket
Right.
increases the vote totals here in Peekskill for the Democrats.
Well,
Yeah, I can see
it does, absolutely.
Or
Inarguable.
Mount Vernon, Yonkers, Peekskill,
New Rochelle.
White
See,
Plains.
the thing is, running
Yeah.
for county executive, popular vote matters. Where presidential, it's states matter.
Nope. Yeah.
That says here we are
Popular
in
vote doesn't
county.
matter.
Right.
Now the popular, so when you say these other groups all come together to support Ken, it actually matters. People have to understand there's a point where the popular vote has no relevance. There's a part when the popular vote, and in a county executive race, popular vote, it means a lot.
Dan,
What
who
I
do you
don't-
think is a better? Who do you think of the two candidates? You said Latimer probably is the insider.
And I love George Latimer. I really do.
No, I understood.
I think he's got his hands full in Albany, and he should stay focused and try to do well.
But getting back, but for now, so in other words, at the convention or at the primary level, you think Latimer has a better shot at it. But in the general, who do you think has the better shot against Astorino? Latimer?
I still think Ken.
You still
I still
think
think Ken. Yeah, and I think that he's been
because he
already,
brings the African-American
because he
base.
brings he gets our base.
Latimer
out.
can't bring that out.
I'm not sure. Look, and again, he's had 4 or 5 very tight, tough races. George Latimer, in a race against Astorino, he might not win his own district.
Gotcha.
He might not, right? Yeah. That's also where Astrino
Yeah, but wait
really
a second. It's going to be tough for Jenkins, like, to carry a Peekskill. After all, you're going to have on the Republican side.
He'll win Peeks, I think.
No, I got to tell you, don't forget, you're going to have Catalina on top of the ticket in Peekskill.
Actually, top of the ticket would be Ken Jenkins.
No, I'm talking in Peekskill, the local election.
Locally, yeah, in Peekskill.
But you got Catalina to be the top Republican in Peekskill. How does Jenkins have a chance to outdraw Catalina's fans?
Well, it doesn't matter.
No, because he's not running against Frank Catalina.
No, but we're talking about bringing people to the polls. Who's a greater draw?
Oh, God. No, Catalina wins because people stay home. He needs people to stay home. Let's face it, in this last
Finally caught on.
This last presidential election, right?
Have you been going that long you forgot my sarcasm?
70% of the people here in Peekskill voted for Hillary in the last election. If you get people out to the polls, the Democrats win. Yeah. Overwhelming. Yeah, Frank needs everyone to stay home. He wants bad weather. He wants a snowstorm.
He wants the grasshopper invasion. All that stuff.
Grasshopper invasion. And I think that my anger. One of the things that I don't like about Rob Astorino, and I don't think people called him out enough about it. And I'd love to see some good government group sue. And I don't. This has nothing to do with Democrat versus Republican. So I'm going to take off my Democratic hat. There, it's off. Right. When he ran for governor, right? Yeah. He used a county car driver and staff to campaign in upstate New York. And I would love to see a proposal where someone says that a campaign that's raising and spending multi-millions of dollars has to reimburse the county for every day that you spent outside the county.
Didn't he?
So if you're going to go, he did not. He did not have to. And you should, and that's Democrat or Republican. I'd love to see them pass that kind of law.
Oh, so this is
because too many candidates do that, right?
Yeah,
candidates are getting paid.
Yeah, they use the power of the office in order to
they're
run
using
their
their position now to go. Yeah. And we'll see that if Cuomo goes to run for president someday, right? All of a sudden, you, the taxpayer of New York, pay for him to go out to Iowa to go.
Well, wasn't he the one that said he'll never use the helicopter? And I think a month later he's using a helicopter.
He's using the helicopter.
I mean, you got to admit,
true.
For all you want to say about last year's election, neither Cuomo or Hillary were living on the taxpayer dime when they ran. They were not shorting another job that the taxpayers paid for. Like they were not a governor of another state or a senator of another, the others that were in the primary.
Well,
like Sanders is screwing.
Because they weren't elected.
Right, but Sanders is screwing the people of Vermont by not
paying. They made fun of Chris
Christie
because he lived in New Hampshire for like 2 months or 3 months.
Right, but you say you got to admit that last was an anomaly in a presidential election that both candidates did not have a government job they were taking leave from.
They were
Why they did that?
Hillary was unemployed. Trump was Trump.
So right, but he had that was. But now let's go. I want to go into something. Daily News is taking issue with Schumer, with this filibuster of Gorsuch.
Yeah.
Putting Gorsuch on the Supreme Court doesn't change the balance of the court.
No.
Because it's only replacing Scalia.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would have been like if Scalia hadn't died, more or less.
Right.
However, if they stop Gorsuch and then the nuclear option comes in, and they put and they use that to get Gorsuch on, this isn't what people have to understand. Once you put the nuclear option, it's not just one and done.
Explain though what the nuclear option is.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry about that. My own advice, I forgot. If there's a filibuster, it takes 60 votes to break a Senate filibuster, and this is what Chuck Schumer is saying, is that they got 41 senators to say they're not going to allow the vote to come to the floor.
Right.
So the Republicans are short.
Right.
The 60 votes
So
needed.
the nuclear option allows it then
right.
to just
So what
go
would
majority.
happen? What would happen is what happened 3 years ago with Harry Reid when he was Senate Majority Leader, and the Republicans were blocking Obama's lower court choices.
Right.
He said, okay, we're going to get rid of this 60-vote rule and only a simple majority will win.
So that means 50 plus 1.
50 plus 1.
Right.
51, whether it's 50 senators and the vice president.
Right.
But it's 51 votes.
Correct.
And so now the precedent has already been set where the majority leader of the Senate, if he feels his people are being stymied, can use the nuclear option and get rid of the filibuster. The precedent has been set.
Correct.
So no new precedent is going to be set here.
Right.
But you've got the threat of a filibuster of a judge that doesn't change the balance of the court. But once McConnell invokes the nuclear option, it's not one and done. Now, let's say instead of a Scalia going off the bench, and it's not a Clarence Thomas that goes off the bench, but it's a Ruth Bader Ginsburg that
right.
goes off the bench.
Right.
Now Trump can still go off that list of 20 people. Don't forget, there's a list of 20 people he's got.
Right.
He's only used one name so far.
Right.
There's still 19 more names. All is conservatives, the next guy.
Right.
That changes the balance of the court. And at that point, Schumer's blown it. He's got no say. He can't stop it.
Well, he can't. Yeah, but he.
Yeah, but he wouldn't stop it now.
Yeah, but he can't stop it now either.
No, but you would keep the filibuster intact.
Oh, you mean you're saying
See,
don't
it would be
use
tougher
you're saying don't use the threat now.
Right.
Wait until if that
Right,
eventuality happens.
that if McConnell used
Yeah,
it,
but
if
but if
McConnell used it to change the balance of the court.
Right.
Now you can have a legitimate argument. Oh, now you're going to change the balance, and now you're being partisan. Where most people can say they say there's no. Gorsh fits all the criteria, and he's good justice. He's certainly more qualified than Sotomayor or Kagan was, as far as rulings, length of service on the Court of Appeals.
Right.
Certainly more qualified.
Yeah.
So to filibuster him you're blowing.
Yeah, but if all right, so forget about that. So Schumer doesn't filibuster now. And gets the vote, and Gorsuch is in, right?
Right.
Now, so then 2 years down the road, Bader Ginsburg says, "That's it, I'm retiring.
Right.
Goodbye." What's the difference? They still
Because
lose.
I think that Mitch McConnell would be loath to get the nuclear option, because I don't think at that point you would have the support of McCain, Graham, and that Gang of Eight.
No, I think.
See, right now you've got the support of the Gang of Eight, because, like even Lindsey Graham said 2 weeks ago, if Schumer blocks Gorsh, he's telling us there is nobody we can nominate.
So they don't have to vote for the nuclear option.
Huh?
The Gang of Eight doesn't have to vote for the nuclear option.
No, but I'm saying, no, he won't. That McConnell would not have the support to use the nuclear option if it was for a candidate that is going to change the balance of the court, where he's got the support now. And I don't understand. You mean
that those 8 would be very hesitant?
Correct. To upset Senate culture.
Right.
In
other words, the filibuster at that point, Schumer would be successful in filibuster.
Yes, that would probably be a successful filibuster, because I don't believe that McConnell could rustle up enough senators to invoke the nuclear option.
So that would force them. So what you're saying is it would force them to go away from a conservative judge
to a more Kennedy,
a more moderate
judge.
Right,
a more Kennedy.
Yeah.
Go from a Bork to a Kennedy, like Reagan did.
I think what you're insinuating is way too thoughtful for what's happening right now in American politics, because everything is so visceral right now that if you're a U.S. senator and you're a Democrat, all you are hearing from your constituents, especially if you're in a blue state, is resist.
Right, but
I will take away your Senate seat if you vote.
Yeah, but that's a blue state. You've got 10 states up in 2 years, of 10 senators up Democrats.
Maybe they hemorrhaged some Democrats. That's not 100% of the Democrats.
No, but
he got 41
10
to
of
go
them,
on
of the
record.
29 that are going to be up for election in 2 years, 29 Democrats, 10 of them are from states that Trump overwhelmingly carried. That's why Manchin
you're
and
giving
the
them
other
way too much
woman.
credit.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
You're giving them way too much
But
credit.
that was Trump against Hillary. Whoever the candidate is going to be, those senators that no one's going to say like Trump had coattails. So far, hasn't proven.
What
that
I'm
yet.
saying is, I don't know why Schumer's picking this battle.
It's the only battle.
Yeah, but it's a battle that he
No,
can't
but this
win.
is it. This might
but
be the
ramifications.
This, with any luck, right? With any luck, God willing, this is the only Donald Trump Supreme Court appointment.
It's not possible unless you get rid of Trump.
How's that not possible?
Because
No one's going to die in the next 3 years. I hope no one dies in the next 3 years. She could live to 86.
Even Stevens, who's still alive, knew there was a point he had to step down.
Yeah, but there's a really good chance this could be the only one. And then, the thing is this. Mitch McConnell 2 weeks ago said.
I'll give you. Okay, wait a second.
Mitch
I'll give you
McConnell
one.
2 weeks ago said this guy was going to get appointed, hell or high water. It didn't matter whether it was a filibuster or not. They were going to use the nuclear option if they have to. The cards were laid on the table.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
And the filibuster hasn't happened. All of this is philosophical.
I'll give you the retirement that.
The filibuster hasn't happened.
I'll tell
yet.
you the retirement that upsets the balance of the court. They send you. They're using Gorsuch to send us. Here's a good conspiracy theory, but it works. They nominated Gorsuch to send a message to Kennedy. It is safe because he's 86, I think. It's safe now. You can retire. We can replace you with a sane guy like a Gorsuch. Don't worry about it. And so now the filibuster's gone. Kennedy retires. Let me finish. Kennedy retires.
And then?
And then they pick a Bork.
No.
And not another Gorsuch.
They don't know. They don't. You know. It's so
know
funny.
what I'm saying? But Schumer
when George Bush sat down with conservatives and they said, we're going to put John Roberts, not only are we going to put John Roberts onto the court, but we're going to put him as Chief Justice. And he was only in his 40s, for the love of God, the youngest Supreme Court Justice, the youngest Chief Justice, and he was going to change everything. And then when he went ahead and said Obamacare was
when he rewrote the
constitutional.
Law. When he rewrote the law.
And when he finished, after he, they don't vote, but after he made his opinion known, and then he hopped a flight and got the hell out of D.C. Remember that? And because people lost their minds. You don't know what these guys are going to do, and that's why we have an independent judiciary.
I understand that, but
well, that goes back to Sandra Day O'Connor when a Reagan appointee thought it ultra conservative. She moved over.
But now you've got places like the Heritage Foundation, actual conservative think tanks that run these people, which you didn't have for John Roberts.
This guy isn't a super conservative, but we don't know how he'll turn out.
No, but
we don't know how he'll turn out.
No, he's got a body of work.
Yeah.
He's got a body of work.
Yeah, I think you're giving them way too much credit. They don't think things through.
All I'm saying is, why would Schumer pick this fight that he's going to lose, to where he can hold the fight for the next appointment that he could win?
Not only that, but now every single senator, Republican and Democrat, is going to have to go on record voting for the nuclear option. And that is going to be held against them or for them in the next election.
No, because remember, precedent has been set. Reid already set the precedent.
Yeah, but he means politically.
Yeah, but Reid already set the precedent.
When you say that, when Reid used it, it didn't get used over and over again forever and ever.
Sure it did.
Then this wouldn't be a conversation.
This
wouldn't be a conversation because the filibuster would be dead 3 years ago.
Because they exempted Supreme Court justice.
Well, now,
every appellate court judge that Obama wanted is now sitting on an appellate court.
But every senator now is going to have to go home to their constituency and explain why they voted for or against it.
And they're going to say because they'll take the LA Times editorial that they wrote when Reid was going to get rid of the filibuster and said it's an antiquated rule, it's an undemocrat rule, it should be gone, use the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster. They'll take this LA Times, not a bastion of conservatism, that argued to get rid of the filibuster.
I like the filibuster. I think, you know what?
And that's all they got to do is keep reading the LA Times that made the best argument.
I think of Jimmy Stewart. Remember Jimmy Stewart?
One other question, just going back and forth because, putting people in. Preet Bharara was one of the best attorney generals we had in New York State, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. Why did they get rid of him? The man put away the top 3 corrupt officials.
He got rid of himself.
Well, how?
Trump made a phone call and he wouldn't take it. He admitted. Trump called 2 days before, and he wasn't taking Trump's. He said, Trump's got to come see me. You don't say that to the president.
He had already gone to see Trump.
And that's the way it works. But Trump says he wanted another meeting. And Bharara says, you have to come to me.
Now, Bharara says that he didn't find out he was fired until there was a mass firing of all 46.
I'm telling you, the call came 2 days before that announcement for another meeting.
Yeah, that call was going to be that he